Well, welcome everyone to today's episode of TMI Advice You Didn't Want. Today we're talking about trusting in the void when things don't seem to be happening. Nothing's working, nothing's moving forward. You're trying to manifest, you're trying to create, but things aren't really changing. What do you do? So, in case we haven't met, my name is Karen.
And my name is Ashley. And I think this is, we've talked about this kind of before, and I think this is an exciting topic because we often put like boxes around ourselves and our potential or like the glass ceilings and all that kind of stuff. And I know I've mentioned this before on our podcast, but with us having shared custody of our kids, we always felt very stuck to live where we're living right now. And it's been really interesting because about probably 6 months ago, I think I was talking with you, and I don't know if I shared it on the podcast or not, but I was like, you know what? Mountains can move, things can happen. I'm going to start preparing for the fact that maybe one day we can move and things can change and maybe that day happens sooner than later. And so my partner really wants to move to Mexico. And so this is kind of our story of how this kind of unfolded really in a crazy way in front of us. So we had gone to Mexico. We found this cute little area. We absolutely loved it. Wanted to come back. And what weren't really sure how that was going to happen with us building up businesses and that kind of thing. And then about 6 months later, a friend messages me and he's like, "Hey, I'm going to this place in Mexico and we got this really sweet deal. Do you and the family want to come?" And so it was the exact place that we loved. And it was during my partner's birthday. So it all kind of just like worked out perfectly and it just felt completely meant to be. It was $150 per kid, like super cheap, unbelievably cost effective for us to be able to go. So we're like, yes, it feels meant to be. We're going, it's happening. So fast forward, we had to jump through a lot of hoops. There was times where it felt like it wasn't going to happen. It felt very hard because we had to work with someone that didn't want us to go to get passports, to get things in place and all that kind of stuff. And then we got to do the trip. The kids were absolutely excited. They loved Mexico. They never wanted to leave. And while we're there, we meet a couple that had moved from Canada to that same spot in Mexico, and they had all the hookups, all the connections, and are in the process right now of building an investment property for a whole bunch of people to be a part of. And hooked me up with a realtor, showed me all the information, and it was just like another reason that this trip felt so meant to be. And like I said before, like we struggled to even get there on a vacation, you know? And so all these things started to align and we're working towards like a custody resolution and all this kind of stuff. And it just feels like what used to seem impossible a year ago. Like absolutely did not think we could even leave the city that we're in, let alone the province or the country, now feels like everything's coming together to make it possible that we could actually leave the country. And not only that, like our kids didn't even want to leave the city that we're in or the school that they're in, and now they all want to move as well. And so it's just kind of funny how when things feel impossible and when you feel like there's no point in even trying, there's no point in even working towards something, if you just give that door a little crack open, it allows the universe to really line things up for you. And so I don't know what's going to happen. We're still in the very beginning stages and the prepping stages, but really that big change was just believing it was possible and mountains could move. And then things started to shift in ways like got news today that is a game changer for us that I never would have thought had happened. Like I've been in shock all day today. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's important to talk about how because this is the thing. Whenever we're trying to manifest something and it doesn't show up, a lot of times, many of us, myself included, will go, "Well, I guess that wasn't meant to be," right? Like we always tell ourselves these ridiculous stories. I've told myself some ridiculous stories within the past 24 hours that I literally look at myself and go, I don't want to believe that. But we still tell ourselves these stories. And the truth of the matter is we can listen to those stories that we tell ourselves, or we can go, okay, this situation happened. It doesn't have to mean anything.
Mhm.
Okay. So when was it? It was a couple days ago. What's today? Today it was on Monday. Today's Thursday, right? On Monday, Matthew, myself, and my dad got in a car accident, right? It wasn't a big car accident, it wasn't a big deal. The person behind us was actually pushed into us, and really, like, we were driving my dad's car. My husband was driving my dad's car, and it was like a tap, like you can't even see anything wrong with my dad's car, but we were still in this accident, and it still kind of sent me into, because I've had past accidents that have been pretty bad where people have rear-ended me, sent me into that place of fear, right? And so I had to notice that when I did that. And then later I had to ask myself, but I didn't really have to, okay? I'm saying, like, I'm going to give you the whole perspective of it, but like, I asked myself, why was I in that situation? And I really think it had to do with moving through that energy, cuz after I got out of the car and everybody was good, I had this overwhelming emotion of wanting to cry, but I'm like, this is not the appropriate time for this. But that wasn't a then moment.
Yeah.
That was an old emotions moment. And I had to, like, stop trying to tell myself stories around why I got in this accident. Okay. I spend a lot of time figuring out that things about myself, figuring things out about, why certain things happen, right? Because what's the emotion that I'm in at that time? And did I create this because of that emotion? I think it was an old emotion that was being pulled forward that I needed to look at.
Mhm.
That's all. And I literally had to go, oh, was I supposed to meet these people? Was I supposed to, like I'm going crazy with myself, going through all these things in my head. And really, like, looking at it now, I'm like, okay, I'm not in the emotion of it now. I can look back at it and go, I needed to pull that emotion up that was stuck in there. So
Mhm.
when we look at our lives and we're like, why aren't things moving forward? There's probably an emotion that we need to just pay a little bit more attention to, that needs to come up in order for it to be let go. Because now that that experience is over, I can go, okay, like, it wasn't that scary. It wasn't a big deal. But I had this overwhelming, like, I wouldn't call it fear, but it was just this overwhelming, oh my God. And in some ways, it was like, oh my God, I'm so glad everybody's okay, right? That kind of thing. So, a lot of times, what I notice in my life when things aren't actually moving or things happen in my life that I might not expect, it's because there's an emotion that needs to be looked at. There's something that needs to be paid attention to. So when you're looking at your life, and, like, I can't speak for you, Ashley, I can only speak for myself. When I'm looking at my life and I'm going, why is nothing changing? Like you said, a year ago, you couldn't have even fathomed being where you are now, right?
Mhm.
When I look at myself today and I go, okay, I love this, but I want to change that. The question is, what is the emotion I'm not looking at? What is the
Mhm.
thing I'm not paying attention to? What is the thing that I need to actually allow it to blossom and love that part of me, right? How do I do that in order to move forward? I really think that life is all about embracing emotions, okay? Like, I don't I like it's funny because Western culture wants nothing to do with emotions, but I truly believe that that's all that life is
Mhm.
figuring out how to embrace those emotions. And for myself, I can't speak for you, Ashley, because your situation may be different, but for myself, I know that if I'm not moving forward, it's because I'm not embracing a part or an emotion of myself. I'm trying to close down to that piece of it. And so that's one thing I would say. If you're looking at your life right now and you're going, nothing's changing, everything's the same, what the hell? First of all, look at that program, because that's a program in and of itself for you to think that something's either wrong with you or why is nothing working. That's a program to work through in and of itself. But then after that, what's the energy? What's the emotion that we're not paying attention to that actually wants to be released and actually be embraced?
Mhm. Well, and I think I have a slightly different perspective of it too, because I think that sometimes there just is that gestation period, right? The law
Yeah.
of
Yeah, absolutely.
um, and so sometimes we just have to be in that space trusting and knowing, and especially we've talked about numerology before, like we're 34 sevens, and that's a big part of our life lesson and our life purpose. And and so for me, it was like trusting that it's possible, one, and then also trusting the process. So I've talked about our custody situation quite a bit, and it's been a 5 year thing, right? Like it's been a lot. It's been draining. It's been crazy. And we started out wanting one thing, and then as we found out new information, that shifted completely. And so, like, initially, we started out just wanting shared parenting, just equal everything, um, like the same, like just a normal co-parenting situation. That's what we wanted. And of course, ideally, it would have been great to have full custody, but we just knew that wasn't something that was going to happen. And I had this gut feeling before problems started to arise that full custody was going to be something down the road. And I didn't know why, because I had a gut feeling, but I didn't have any evidence or any reason for that. I just had this feeling. Um, and then our court case kept being adjourned and going late, and it was so frustrating. I think it was 3 years of like things being adjourned, and like we were adjourned one, two, three, four, 5 times. Like that's a lot, like a lot. And I know the court process is painful and long, but I just kept on being like, I have to trust this process and I
Mhm.
just have to figure out the reason. So then we find out that there's abuse happening.
Yeah.
And so it was like, okay, we no longer want 50-50. Now we actually want full custody because this isn't healthy and this isn't safe and all that kind of stuff. And then again, we got adjourned. Um, and it was really hard because I can see my kids suffering, but it's really also hard to get full custody after you have a 50-50 order. And so then, with everything that has come to light of evidence in the last year since that last time we were adjourned, it will probably be that game changer. It raises um, our likelihood of achieving what we want probably by 70%, which is not a small number. And of course, everything's unknown in court and everything like that. But all those little setbacks all set us up. Like we did a voice of child for our daughter. We did not want one for our son because he's young. Boys don't mature quite the same. He didn't care. He wanted 50-50. He was happy with 50-50. He didn't want his voice to be heard. Our daughter did. So it was like he's not asking for it, so we don't need to put him through the stress of it. So we said no, we don't want it. But the mom wanted it, and he is the right age, so the judge went through with it. Turns out he was the one that like gave the most insight of what his life was like at that home. And so even though we didn't want it, it will probably be the game changer to our situation. And so it's those things that you think are setting you back are not happening and all that kind of stuff. Like there was nothing I could do differently but trust the process.
Mhm.
So yeah,
Yeah,
sometimes
so
it's just a period of time.
so I know for me, like that my situation's not the same at all, obviously. But for me, when I look at my life and I'm like, things aren't going as fast as I want, that's the program I have to change. That's the emotion that wants to come up. The I have to go faster, it has to go faster, instead of trusting that process of what needs to happen, right? So everything is just a reflection of the emotions that we have inside of us. I don't know how to say that any differently. I wish I wasn't saying that. If I'm being honest with you, this is advice I don't want. Okay. If I'm being honest with you, I don't want to hear this myself, but literally everything that I see, and probably anybody else that's listening to this, I'm not going to suggest this for you because that is not my job. Your job is to go within and decide this for yourself. But everything I see in my 3D reality is a reflection of what's actually happening inside of me. And if I ever feel like, why isn't this happening sooner? what the fuck? Like, things are not working, things aren't moving forward. I need to see that. That is the program, that is the emotion that I need to let go of.
Yeah.
And so, anytime I ask myself that question, I don't ask that question anymore because I'm like, I'm fucking done with that. Like, why isn't this going faster? I'm fucking done with that completely. I literally am like, nah, patience, everything is going the way it's supposed to. I literally say that to myself all the time. I don't like to feel rushed anymore either by my outside, because I'm like, no, everything's happening the way it's supposed to. And my outside can't make me feel rushed.
Yeah.
And so I really like, I don't know, like, God, it's so hard for me to even say this out loud, but I literally will be like, oh my God. Like, I'm trying to push, I'm trying to make it go faster. If I see things slowing down, it's because for me, I'm trying to push and make it go faster. Ugh,
Mhm.
it fucking sucks to say that out loud, but it's true for myself that I'm
Yeah.
like, ooh, I can't make this go faster. It needs to go the way it needs to go. And the moment that I can allow it to be is the moment that it does exactly what it needs to.
Yeah.
So,
And I think that's part of that void period too. It's
yeah.
not giving up on that belief. Like I have had this gut feeling and desire because like, yeah, I would way rather have my kids all the time, like it just opens up so many possibilities of like how we can influence and how we can build relationships. And so, yeah, I 100% would rather them full time. But like it at the end of the day, if they have a healthy home on the other side,
Hmm.
there is the benefit of I get adult time and I get kid time. Like
Right. Exactly.
the
But
biggest thing that my friends complain about is that they don't have family nearby, they don't have people that they can watch their kids, and so they feel so stuck in parenting and kids and they don't get a break and they really need a break. And so like 50-50 custody, you get that break, And so it's like I can spin it, I can spin 50-50 custody to be something that I can fully enjoy. It can be the time that I work harder. I can fill my time with more self-care. Like there's so many things. Like, if they had a healthy home on the other side, I can get behind 50-50 custody. They don't. So that's the big difference.
Mhm.
And so in this whole process, my partner has often been like kind of cynic was I can't say the word.
Cynical?
Yeah,
Cynical?
kind of cynical. He got really messed up with his first lawyer. And so he's like, oh, the system is against the father, the system is against the dad. And it really does lean more heavily towards the mother. And so he's had that sinister kind of outlook of like, don't get your hopes up too much, don't get your hopes up too much. And I have maintained this like undeniable belief. And even like when I say things to other people, they're like, oh, are you sure? Like, are you sure, sure? And I've had this unwavering belief that somehow, some way, it's going to happen. And initially, it wasn't even because I wanted it. It was just because I felt like it was going to happen. Like, like truly, like how I said, like I could see good in both. So
Mhm.
it wasn't like this like huge, like I have to find a way to make this happen. So even at that stage, I had this belief that things were going to be changing.
Mhm.
So I think
And
that's in the void.
yeah, and anytime you're looking to manifest something, I do feel like there is that germination period, that gestation period where you have to believe even when it's not looking like it, right? Like I don't I don't believe that the universe is testing us. I believe that we test ourselves. Okay? Because we're asking ourselves, do I really believe that this is possible for me? Do I
Yeah.
really believe that I am worthy to receive something like this?
Yeah.
And to me, the moment that we decide that we are worthy to receive is when we actually create that thing. And so, yeah, there's always some sort of germination, gestation period where it's like, okay, you have to believe. But then there's times where it's like, okay, but it's been years. What the actual fuck? And
Mhm.
that's when we really got to look deep and go, okay, wait a minute. What am I missing? And a lot of times for myself, It was the feeling that it had to go faster.
Mhm.
That, oh my God, why can't this fucking hurry up? And that is the program I continue to work on day in, day out. Okay. Like, you ask my husband if I'm a patient person, he's going to be like, you're not talking about her. Because that is something that I grew up in the microwave society. Okay. A lot of us have this, it needs to happen now expectation. And when it doesn't, the question is, okay, like, what's wrong with me? Maybe this isn't supposed to happen. We make up all these stories. I see it all the time, okay? I have been on social media for fuck's sake. Has it been 7 years? I think it's been about 7 years since yeah. It's been,
Even longer, maybe.
yeah, could be. I don't know. I mean, so I'm talking about like, so yeah. So I started doing online marketing. It was around 7, maybe 8 years ago, but I was online before that, but not in an online marketing experience, right? So, but
Because I
I,
think we met 11 years ago.
is that possible? I don't fucking know. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, I'm pretty confident it was 11 years ago. I think it was 10 because I calculated it with one of our mentors and I met our mentor 6 months before I met you, and I've known him for 10 years.
Okay. Well, regardless, it doesn't matter. What I'm trying to say is a lot of times when you look at those time frames and you're like, okay, why the fuck isn't it happening? A lot of times it's not some magical thing. I remember, I think the same mentor that you're talking about right now, he asked me years ago, okay, so what's standing in your way? And the answer was as simple as, I'm too fucking impatient for my own good. I need
Yeah.
to just fucking relax because my nervous system can't relax into the present moment. The
Mhm.
nervous system is what's going to tell you what you're going to see in your 3D reality.
Yeah.
Your nervous system, if you are feeling flighty, antsy, all over the place all the time, that is what your 3D reality is also going to create for you. So that's why, like, if you look at anything that I post on social media, if you look like when in the whole spiritual realm, if you look at anything that I say, it is really all about regulating that nervous system because your nervous system is truly key to all of it. If your nervous system feels safe, your manifestation is going to feel safe. If your nervous system is in fight or flight, your manifestation is not going to come to you because it doesn't feel safe.
Yeah.
That was so hard for me to wrap my brain around. And once I finally did, it still was a process to notice when I would get into that fight or flight state of that, oh my God, it needs to happen faster. Because that's a fight or flight response. That's a very limited emotion of impatience, right? So that impatience is going to just draw more impatience to me. And so
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, I gotta keep getting back into the moment. I gotta keep doing that over and over again is what creates that thing coming to you. And
Yeah.
why sometimes that void of, oh my God, why isn't it happening? Feels like it's drawn out even more because our nervous system is saying, oh, but why hasn't it happened yet? Oh, I'm so impatient. It has to happen sooner. And the moment that I do that is the moment I'm like, now, then I didn't get it. But now I'm like, oh no, I got to stop everything. I got to stop everything and stop it all. This isn't working for me. And I have to actually evaluate. And I look at that moment and I let myself have my moments. Okay. I don't know who doesn't have their, like let yourself have your moment of impatience. But then ask yourself, how long do I want to keep feeling my impatience?
Mhm.
And if the answer is, well, wait a minute, it doesn't really feel good to always be in fight or flight. It doesn't really feel good to have my heart constantly pounding, my hands constantly sweaty, my mouth always dry. I'm always in like I gotta run mode. If that doesn't feel good, then we gotta figure out how to get out of that, how to step out of that so that we can actually create and allow it to come in because that just pushes it away even longer. And for myself, this is what I did. I pushed it away even longer because I was in that fight or flight for so long. It took me a long time to, first of all, notice that I was doing it and then stop it and then stop it again and then keep stopping it and stopping it some more until finally I'm at the place where I'm literally like, holy shit, I can't even believe how much money I manifested yesterday. Holy fuck, how much am I manifesting today? Because I actually spent the time to really look at, okay, this is a fight or flight state. I don't want to feel this anymore. I don't want to experience this anymore because I'm going to keep pushing things away.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's really important of just like knowing how to reflect and how to evaluate. It comes down to that self-awareness. And there's like the double-edged sword there because sometimes what you're manifesting isn't going to make sense in your
Yeah.
current reality or your self-awareness. But you have to still check yourself. And not check yourself in the sense of like, is this possible? Is this believable, but check yourself in the what might be blocking me here.
Hmm.
What do I need to do in this moment? Because anything is possible.
Hmm. Yeah, I think the the thing that I realized a long time ago is that I know anything is possible and I could work myself to death into it,
Mhm.
or I could settle into the moment, get myself out of fight or flight and allow it to be received. Now that
Mhm.
does now listen that's really important too to listen to what I said where I didn't say stop doing everything. What's so important is to stay like keep doing the 3D goals. Like if for example, if you're trying to build a business on social media, keep doing those 3D goals. But
Yep.
as you're doing it, really noticing how am I feeling as I'm doing this? Am I in a state of fight or flight? Is
Mhm.
my body like, I can't tell you how many people have told me in over the years, like, I don't sleep at night, my heart races randomly, I have these weird experiences where like I just have panic attack or whatever. I don't care what it is. Your
Yep.
body is telling you that it's in fight or flight. And it's so important to listen to that because when we listen to that and we actually go, okay, it's happening again. What can I do differently to help myself relax into the present moment so that I can experience this present moment instead of being fearful of the future or upset about the past, right?
Yeah.
How can I be in this present moment? And that is something that God, I wish I'd learned this as a child because it would have made my life a whole lot easier. But at least I'm learning it now and I'm understanding it now to the degree that I literally can go, okay, I created what I created because I was in a state of fight or flight.
Mhm.
Or maybe my body needed to feel fight or flight because I haven't felt it yet today. I have to ask myself that constantly. Am
Yeah.
I bringing this emotion up because I haven't felt my fight or flight today? Interesting thought that I just had there. I might need to look more at my nervous system. I look at it again and again and again, and I literally, like, this will be something that I do until the day that I'm passed from this 3D reality because that's the game. Like, there is no other game other than mastering our emotions. And when I say master, I'm not saying get rid of them. I'm saying embrace them. See
Yeah.
them for what they are. They are just telling you what you're experiencing inside and how it relates to what you're experiencing outside.
Mhm. Yeah, definitely.
So, I mean, it's a process too. It's a process to really figure this whole thing out. And sometimes being okay with where you are is not the easiest thing either. I've
Mhm.
been in that situation too. Like, I mean, you have been in that situation for years, right? 5 years of going, okay, I don't love what's happening to these kids, but there's literally nothing that I can do. I've
Yeah.
been in that situation too, just in a different way, right? I
Mhm.
don't love what's going on in my 3D reality, but there's really not much I can physically do other than what I'm already am doing. So, in that instance, it's like it's not a physical thing, it's an
Mhm.
emotional thing. What's
Yeah.
the emotion? What's the underlying emotion that I'm missing, that I'm
Mhm.
not paying attention to? And for me, it always, I don't know. I don't know a time where it doesn't come back to my body wants to be in fight or flight. My brain wants to bring up times where I can be in fight or flight. Like that's what it comes down to. I don't know why I created this for myself other than I wanted to release it. I wanted to be done with it. So the more I bring it up for myself, I actually thank myself for bringing this up so that I can move through it and so that I don't have to continue to deal with this particular state of fight or flight. Because there's going to be all kinds of different situations that bring up that fight or flight. And the more we master that, the better we get at mastering our emotions around it too.
Yeah. You don't have to peel that onion as much.
Mm-hmm. And the onion is fucking deep. When does it end? Yeah. It's constantly going. I don't know. But with that, I think this is a great place to end. If you're listening on your favorite podcast host, go ahead, give us a 5-star. Let us know in the comments what your thoughts are. And if you're listening on YouTube, go ahead, give us a like, give us a subscribe, and let us know in the comments what your thoughts are as well. So with that, we're going to call TMI, Advice You Didn't Want, a wrap for today. Thanks so much for watching. Click on one of the videos below to continue hanging out with us, and don't forget to subscribe.